Oi, oi, hello and welcome to another GG.CO.UK video. Trends video again, sponsored by Boyle Sports. This time, I've done the cheat sheet for the December Gold Cup. 2-day fixture coming up in Prestbury Park, Friday, Saturday, with the December Gold Cup feature handicap on the Saturday. Now, I've done the trends for this. I've whittled it into a bit of a trends tick list. We've put 7 criteria in there, but I just want to caveat this with, if you read the article, you can put weighting on whichever way you like to do it. So the purpose of adding this video in here as well is that I'm going to talk to you about some of the stats that I've used them in there. I'm going to be forgiven of a few horses. Might be a harsh of a few horses too, but we're going to talk about where they sit on the pecking order. We'll talk about the ones that hit 6 out of 7 or 5 out of 7, including a top trend ticker that's priced 25 to 1. So you want to stay tuned for that. 14 runners have been confirmed. I'm recording this Monday. I'm going to talk about each of the horses, but quickly on the lower ones, just to tell you how many boxes they tick. But the key trends we're looking at for this particular video, distance, they have run between 2 mile 4 and 2 mile 5. The race is over 2 mile 4.5. They should have won over those trips as well. Chase wins, they should have no more than 4, and they should at least have won. So they can't be a maiden, but who knows. No more than 4 wins unless they've had more than 20 chase starts. If you've had 20 or more chase starts, you should have won at least 6 times. Age should be 7 or 8. Now, on this one, 7 or 8 is the way to do it. It is profitable to do it. It's a preference for that one, but 6-year-olds are okay too. I'm saying that because I'm going to be harsh on a couple of 6-year-olds in here, but I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. 5-year-olds, we haven't had a 5-year-old winner since the 60s, 1960s, I think, so that's a big negative for Madara. Even Fugitive, the other joint favourite, currently, we've had no 9-year-old winner this century, but you go back to the 90s for one of those happening. So look, there's relevance that can come with those things. As I talk about in the trend sheet, when you look at it, this will be broken down in different categories, but for like the age one example, it has been profitable to back 8-year-olds blind, I think, this century in the last 10. So those types of things add a little bit more substance to why we've whittled down the trends. As I say, a 6-year-old wouldn't be a negative, although we wouldn't be scoring at a point in here. So that's where the weighting might come in, right? Recency, they should have run within the last 30 days, and we're given a bonus point for running the Paddy Power Gold Cup. Now, there wasn't a renewal in 2022, so when I've done the last 10, I've done the last 10 run-ins, but 6 of the last 7 run-ins, the winner came from the Paddy Power Gold Cup in the November meeting, which is why we're giving a bonus point to it. Could be recency bias, but probably not. It's more by design, I would imagine. These days, Cheltenham experience, they should have raced at Cheltenham. It's not required to have won there. About a third of horses that have raced here have won. But the horses that have won here have won more than once. So that potentially is something to throw in there. But look, as long as you run around Cheltenham, we're giving you a point. Not the favourite. Should not be the favourite. The race is marked in. But again, we are giving that as a pointer because this century there's only been one winning favourite. But you could also look at that and say, are we due a favourite? And are we being harsh? Knocking a point off of the only horse in the race that will be favourite, or the way we've done this in here, and then everyone else gets a bonus tick in there. So look, I'll talk about the horses and we can see how harsh we want to be with them. Good thing is, with the article, you can go and make your own list. Like I say, put emphasis on, you want to say 1 point, this is a crucial stat, or 3 points is a crucial stat, and then 1 point if it's a less inquisitive thing. You know what I'm saying. We've done it this way. We'll put some details up on the screen. I'll share some pictures of the horses I'm going through, so you haven't just got my face to go through. But let's crack on. So look, Sure Touch ticked 3 out of the 7. Pinkerton ticked 4 out of 7. James Taberta was 4 out of 7. Shake 'em Up Harry was 4 out of 7. Grandad Dam was 4 out of 7. Stage Star was 4 out of 7 as well. And before we move on to the bigger ones, I'll just mention Stage Star because 162 rated horse. There's been 2 horses that have been rated above 162. Both won, both trained by Paul Nicholls. So if someone's going to get him to do it, it's going to be him. 8-year-old is fine for the age. The other negatives that he's missing out on is the fact that he last ran in October. So he's outside the time frame. It was the Old Rome, which I thought was quite a good run. So that could be relevant. But when we've got so many horses recently that have come from the Paddy Power Gold Cup, that age band is being sort of thwarted a little bit. When you look at the age range, I mean, the age range, the last raced range, as long as they run in the last 60 days, they're okay. So we're giving him a negative star for there, but we're, again, being harsh. But you don't want to be too kind to every horse, otherwise you give them all a chance, right? And then obviously, because he didn't run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, he's also missed a point for there. So he drops a couple of points for that, and then he drops a point for the fact that he's had borderline too many wins for his 10 races, which might sound like it's mad, but it could be that he's exposed. So look, potentially being very harsh on Stage Star, I would say, with the way that we scored this. So take that as you will. Anyway, moving on to the way that we've done it. The first horse that comes in that's ticked 5 out of 7 boxes is Le Patron for Gary and Josh Moore. So this horse, he's been an absolute revelation since he's gone defence, isn't he? He's 4 wins from 6 starts. Great ride under Freddie Mitchell in Newbury last month. So where we look at the boxes that he ticks, he's got the distance wins, he's got the number of chase wins, he's got a problem with his age as far as we're marketing. We're giving a point for 7 and 8 year olds, but 6 isn't necessarily a negative. It's just not profitable to back blind. Ran in November, which is fine. He's run within the right sort of time frame, but he didn't run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. Has run at Cheltenham and he's not going to be favourite. So he ticks a lot of the boxes. We're being harsh on age. Paddy Power Gold Cup, he didn't run there, but he's coming from a race that he did win last time out. So again, maybe we're being a bit harsh, but trends are there for a reason. At least that's what we're trying to look at in here. So another horse that ticked 5 out of 7 is Madara. 5-year-old Madara. And the guy that's done this for me at GG, which is a massive, massive help, has penalised Fugitive for being likely favourite, but not penalised Madara. So, I sound really angry with that, don't I? But Madara gets a point for not starting as the favourite, but it is possible the horse could, but I think the guy at GG knows that this horse will be probably weak in the market. One winning 5-year-old, I think, or maybe it's a couple, but it's not. We haven't had a winning 5-year-old since the 1960s. That has to be a massive negative. And he's got no wins at between 2 mile 4 and 2 mile 5 either. So that is another sort of, I don't want to say non-negotiable to be really harsh and say a horse hasn't got a chance, but it could well be a non-negotiable. Obviously did run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. That was the first try at the trip. Stayed on nicely, just couldn't stay on. Was like when enough. Was like never near a type performance. Very interesting as well, isn't it? But yeah, there are negatives in there, but every horse has got its chance, right? The next one that comes in for the 5 out of 7 is In Excelsis Deo. So again, if we wanted to start, not only making excuses for them, but trying to look outside of the trends ticking and be forgiven of a horse, I think plenty will want to be like that with Harry Fry's In Excelsis Deo. Look, he's got no wins at 2 mile 4 to 2 mile 5, but he's arguably been unlucky in quite a few races. But when does it come to the point where you say it's not unlucky anymore, he just doesn't jump very well or he makes too many mistakes? Look, he's got the right number of chase wins, so he has won races. 6, again, is marked as a negative, but might not be a massive, massive one. 7 and 8 is definitely a positive, though. Ran in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, so obviously within the recency time as well, gets 2 points for both of those. Cheltenham, yes, and Status not favourite, gets a box tick for that. But look, I'd probably argue the wins at the trip are a concern, but he is the type of horse that you could see going in at this sort of distance, regardless of the fact he hasn't won it here before. So, yeah, I mean, he's got his chance, hasn't he? Fugitive is the favourite. 5 out of 7 he ticks on here. But again, are we being a bit harsh there because we're saying he's the likely favourite? The only box he doesn't tick is the fact that he's a 9-year-old, so he wouldn't be the right age bracket. We've had no 9-year-old win this century, but think back to the 90s and there has been one. But probably being harsh on the horse, really, if we're marking him down for the favourite thing, he could be a 6 out of 7 type horse. That's in there. Fits the profile for a lot of boxes being ticked in there. Again, if you want to be really harsh with him, when we look at the last winners that have had the 4 wins, I don't think there's been very many that would have had 17 runs, which is what this horse has had. That's where it starts to get a bit whiffy, I guess is probably the best way to say it. But it's the career runs of these horses where we're saying up to the band of 4 wins. I think when I'm looking at my sheet now, 15 runs is the most a horse has had. So again, potentially it's potato type stuff, isn't it? Could be being harsh. I don't want to be overly favourable because I think Fugitive's got a chance. But we are with him. You could be kind and bump him up if you wanted to do it that way. But let's move on to the top point scorers. 6 out of 7 for 4 horses. And I told you at the start, one of them was 25 to 1. So look, I won't keep you any longer. Guard Your Dreams ticks 6 of the 7 boxes for the Twiston Davis team. Look, he's got distance wins. He's got the right amount of wins over fences for the amount of times he's run. He is aged 8. He ran in November. He didn't run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, though. He has run at Cheltenham, and he's not going to be the favourite. Well, who knows? But he's 25s at the moment. Now, the one he missed out on was the Paddy Power Gold Cup run. Now, what's interesting with this is when you look at the fact that it's a positive to come from there, 11 winners this century have come from the Paddy Power Gold Cup. You look at the horses that ran in the November meeting that didn't run in that race that came here, and no horse has run and won this race that didn't run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. So if they ran in any other race at the November meeting, they haven't won this. But it is a smaller sample. So I think there's 90 odd or maybe 84 that have run this century from the Paddy Power Gold Cup. And then it might be that I reckon there's probably 27 or something like that. I could probably get the exact numbers written into the article, but like it's a small enough samples that you would say that they might have had chances to go and win a race, but price related when you look at this type of field, it wouldn't be the biggest negative in the world. So you could potentially be even kinder to him. And he is a 25 to 1 shot. Look, Twiston Davis at Cheltenham, maybe he's going to be a horse that will be well supported, but we wanted to give him a mention because he does look potentially overpriced, especially when other people start looking at these trends. Again, you can tweak them to suit however you want. Next in is Gemarand for Venetia Williams. Just back all of Venetia's at the moment, isn't it? They're running way above form, and I don't want to say that to be... I don't know, I don't think anyone would think I was being like snide or anything with it, but they're running way above form. And the mad thing with Gemarand is he got an RPR of 144 for his race at Ascot last time out. He's gone up £8 to 136, but still £8 lower than the RPR that he ran. Look, that is a question mark of whether he can continue to stay on that level. But I was against this horse at Ascot because I thought he needed the run first time out. Clearly didn't, absolutely scooted up. He is a horse, right, that... probably will be happy with a slightly dry forecast as well. I know it's Venetian, we'll think about the mudlark stuff, but that was a good ground win at Ascot. Got wins on good ground and good to soft, well, good runs on good to soft, on good ground as well. So this might be a horse that's outside of the mould of a typical Venetia Williams horse that doesn't want the rain like everybody else. Has been supported since confirmation, though. 16s into 12s already. I suspect this horse will be significantly more supported, especially when people realise that the drying ground will help. But this is where the question of who's going to go off favourite starts to come in. But the only box this horse doesn't tick is not running in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. So while that has been prevalent, right, 11 winners this century from the 21 running the Paddy Power Gold Cup, that does mean that 10 haven't. The reason we're given the bonus point is because 6 of the last 7 ran in that race. So it's a bonus point that maybe we're being generous, giving a whole extra point for that. So Gemarand is borderline ticking all the boxes in there as well, I would say. Il Ridotto, 6 out of 7. Obviously won the November Gold Cup. And I guess that's partly something you might want to peel in there, that as much as you've had the winners coming in there, Exotic Dancer's the only one that won it the same year. It sounds mad to say it's a negative to win a race and then come here and do it, but that could be the icing on the cake, that as much as he ran in there, maybe that's going to be enough for his raising the weights just to see him down. Look, chase wins are, like, I don't want to say an issue with Il Ridotto because they're not, but he is a horse that's run 21 times and only had the 3 wins. So again, when we look at these historical facts of it, it might just be the case that he doesn't win as often, and maybe they just got, that was his win last time out. But he is only a 7-year-old, right? So he ticks a box for that. He's got the distance wins, of course. He's got the Cheltenham when he's not at the moment currently favourite, and with Harry Cobden jocked up for Stage Star. You think Il Ridotto, I mean, there's no reason why he couldn't be short, but you'd think Il Ridotto won't be going off favourite for this race. He's got every chance of being almost a top trend ticker, because most horses that have won this have had less than 4 wins. But I did say most of them had also only had 15 chase starts or less. So he's had 6 more. And again, I was poo-pooing Fugitive a tiny bit for that. So I can't really be being kind to Il Ridotto for it. GambleAware is the other horse that ticks 6 out of 7. I think the editor that popped it on the website may have thought this horse ticked all the boxes, but he has won 5 times over fences, which again, are we being harsh saying you've won too many times? But it's 5 from 16 runs. So where I said again, right, 20 chase starts, you should have 6 wins. And I said that if you've got up to 4 wins for everybody else, and the threshold seems to be from up to sort of 15 chase starts, 16 runs and 5 wins probably is being harsh on GambleAware. Look, the right age, 8-year-old, ran in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, ran a cracking race to run second behind Il Ridotto. Cheltenham form, of course, not going to be the favourite, or we don't know. He might end up being the favourite. But was due in the Peterborough Chase this Sunday. I think it's interesting that they decided to not go there and come here. Did look a competitive race there. Ground must have played a big part in there. But again, the dry and forecast will be a positive for GambleAware. So look, he ticks most of the boxes up there. There's 4 that do, though. And I'd say of those 4, GambleAware, Gemarand and Guard Your Dreams, probably all I would elevate a little bit higher than Il Ridotto. But then I'm probably being harsh to say that he's the Paddy Power Gold Cup winner coming in here. But look, the article link is in the description. Like I say, you can go tweak these trends to however you want. We wanted to just run through these with you, with us ticking off the criteria for some key trends that we've popped up in there. But again, it's handy to do these videos because you can understand the emphasis that might be on one way or the other. And of course, when it comes to betting on horses, you can just build systems. As I've said, it can be profitable to back some of these things blind. However, when you see how many qualifiers feel up on these types of races, you have to sort of beg the question of, well, how do I whittle it down? There's 4 horses we've suggested there, that's 6 out of 7. So you might want to back them all, but then you start thinking yourself, well, it's backing too many horses, all this sort of stuff. So look, it's not going to be the sole reason to back a horse, but sometimes it might be enough to put you off, or it may be enough to help you decide that a horse has got a chance. Look, the weather's going to be pretty dry this week. I know we've had a bit of rain about. I can't imagine it's going to be treacherous ground. I'm saying that with sort of God willing. It's good to soft at the moment. I don't actually think there is any rain forecast over at Cheltenham, so it might dry out even further than that. But obviously they can keep it to good to soft, I'm sure, with watering. So I think it's going to be perfect National Hunt Racing Grounds, but there may be horses that tick the boxes and we look at and they need a bog. Not in this particular instance, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we had to waffle at some point. It's come at the end of the video, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Big thanks to Boyle Sports again. Check out the link in the description for the cheat sheet, and we will see you Thursday for this episode. Yeah, this week's episode of Weekend Watch, where I'll be hosting. So we've got Matty and Andrew. I believe that's correct. If I'm wrong and Kate's there, then I apologise.